popcorn. We are two ninjas spoiling movies. Yeah. And Brandon Collins, that's me. It's just a brand for your movie needs. Medium popcorn. Woo! You haven't seen it, well, we're gonna spoil it. Who's the master? Well, that's your warning. And if you get pissed, it's all your fault. Ooh, ooh. Ooh, ooh.
This is how we do it.
This is how we do it.
It's medium popcorn.
This is how we do it.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
This is how we do it.
Da da na 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 na.
This is how we do it.
It's Friday night. I don't know. Hey, everybody, it's medium pop. You know I was gonna fuck it up.
Something, Brandon.
No. Sometimes I see the look on your face where you're like, this could go somewhere. And I'm like, I'm gonna let Justin down.
Yep.
I'm gonna let him down again.
I was hopeful, but then I realized this is Brandon Collins or Eddie Collins. Which one?
This is Eddie Collins. It's always Eddie Collins. Okay. Until I say otherwise, this is Eddie Collins. And that's legally. I'm saying I am Eddie Collins, putting that out there. And this, of course, you can hear the melody voice of my co-host, Justin Brown. We are Medium Popcorn. And we're about to spoil this movie by Emma Siegelman called Bottoms. It's been out for a while, though. It's on Amazon Prime. And it stars one of the hottest up-and-coming talents today, Ayo Edebiri, who is famous for the Bear. And she's just been every fucking where. And also Rachel Sennott, who has been in this movie called Shiva Baby, which was that's the way like I kind of learned about her. And most recently in The Idol, that terrible weekend show on Max. Yeah, it was fucking nuts. She shows her titties though. Those are some big weapons.
Yeah. I saw him in this. I was just like, wait a second. I was like, how old is this girl? She's of age though. She's of age.
She is. I actually saw a screening for what was it? Bodies. Yeah, I saw a screening of that in LA, and it was with her and the Michaela at the actress named Michaela, who's also in that industry show. And they were like sitting that street there. I'm like, oh, that's a cute little pair right there.
Okay.
But yeah, so this movie stars high schoolers PJ and Josie, who are incredibly unpopular. Basically because I guess they're lesbian virgins, which a lot of people just tease them about, including the administration. It's fucking weird.
Yeah, wild. It's wild. I mean, there's a whole lot of wild things, which is
I loved it.
No fly zone from any school.
Well, that's what I love about this world. And like, I actually, I read the script by Rachel Sennott and Emma Siegelman. Because I took some inspiration for it in regards to world building for like a script I wrote about my time in the Boy Scouts and stuff like that. Because they quickly set up this. I'm sorry?
Touched. The Boy Scout story. I'm sorry.
See, folks, Justin don't get to read on any of my stuff. That's why he's just just speculating what they're about.
Yes. Brandon, you're telling your story. Story of a young boy in the Boy Scouts. Touched.
All right. Well, we're getting beyond Justin's low-hanging fruit, and I'm going to talk about this plot. So what I love most about this movie is it does set up from the beginning how insane and absurd this world is.
Oh, insane. Go on.
Like it's like between a kid being in a fucking cage, like they don't address it at all. He's just in the corner of a classroom in a cage. And just like acting wild to like them basically the school is very competitive in their football, and so it's supposed to be like making fun of that shit, that like like the very serious like football environments and places like and like we're at the point where like it was like tragically violent in the past and stuff, and the way that the townspeople just talk is fucking crazy about it. And then of course we have Marshawn Lynch as Mr. G, the sex ed gym teacher, whatever the fuck he is, who just says the most wild shit ever.
Well, no, wait, I don't think he's a gym teacher. I think he's just a teacher.
Okay. I mean, it all works. They never really clarify his subject matter
Oh,
expertise. You
but
know
he's
what I mean?
crazy. So I was listening to an interview, and Marshawn Lynch was talking about the fact is like he wanted to make this, like he wanted to make this movie or be a part of this project because he holds a lot of regret the way that he reacted when his sister came out.
Yeah.
And and because I guess he wasn't very supportive, at the time. He kind of felt a lot of shame because that, and also he was young. But then like as he grew older, he was just like, I really fucked up there, and he always felt that like he's like, he's like, I try to do everything to let her know that I support her and her partner because her sister got married and everything. He's like, I even planned her wedding. But he's just like, yeah, but like, he's like, I never really got over the fact is how I treated her when she first told me. So he's like, that's why this movie is like, I wanted to be a part of something that is, for the LGBTQ community. Which is like, I was like, all right, so that's cool. This is kind of a passion project for him because this is not something you would think would be a passion project for anybody, but it's a good thing to hear.
Yeah, I mean, it's his story, like his relationship, like Marshawn Lynch to the story is like, I appreciate him sharing that. And, I'm glad that he is able to kind of acknowledge where he fucked up, but also be willing to put himself out there as kind of like the ignorant dude about life, like, love and, remember like what life is like in the LGBTQ community and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of like the ignorant audience's like access to this movie. You know what I mean? He's
Uh,
like, oh, lesbians, y'all get down, I guess. I don't know. Like
well,
he's that's some wild shit, man.
yeah,
Just because he's getting divorced.
he goes on a really wild soliloquy in the middle of this film. Well, towards the end, he's just like, "Y'all probably ain't tickling the pearl," and I'm just like, "Oh boy," you're talking to high
Yeah.
schoolers in this film, and it's just funny because Ayo called us like, "I don't think it's appropriate for you to be
Yeah.
talking to us like that."
Hmm. I mean, a lot of the adults are so out of pocket in this movie. I
Oh yeah,
mean, we have moms that are blatantly fucking the head football player who that actor's fucking crazy. Like
oh,
the
God.
dudes in this movie, like that guy, and then the mixed dude who was like the main antagonist,
Yeah,
he was fucking crazy.
nuts. I mean, we had intergender fight that was
Yeah.
yeah,
That
nuts.
was brutal to watch, man. To watch that big football player beat the shit out of
You mean punch her in the face? Like
yeah.
what? It's
Yeah,
like,
poor Hazel. She got worked in this movie. She got fucked up.
yeah, she did.
And she was the craziest one. She was the most down one. Did she kill? She killed somebody at the end, right?
They all killed somebody at the end.
That's true. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. That's what I loved about this movie too. Is it got progressively more violent because at the beginning, when they're like pulling out of the carnival, they don't really hit the football player. Like they screech on him, and he acts like like they ran him over and shit. And the whole town's
Yeah,
like up in arms. But then by the end, we literally are watching people get murdered and blown up and shit.
yeah, yeah. Chick
It's in the juice.
has
It's
a
in.
sword.
They put the juice in the sprinklers. That was so fucking crazy.
Yeah, pineapple juice in the sprinklers to try to kill that kid who has the allergy. Like what?
By the way, the past 2 years have not been nice to pineapple juice in cinema because between this movie and pineapple juice and Glass Onion that was used to kill Dave Batista,
Mm,
pineapple juice is looking more and more fatal. You know what I mean?
yeah, and also just the fact that that used to be Diddy's mixer for Ciroc. Ciroc
Well,
apple juice. So it's just not having a good day, a good few years.
well, Diddy seems like the kind of psychopath that wholly subscribe to like things like, oh yeah, pineapple juice will make your nut juice taste sweeter. And he'd be like, yeah, yeah, take that, take that. He's a fucking creep. He's psychopath.
I mean that is true. I mean, you do eat,
I mean, you have to, yeah, you had to consume some sweets in order to make it stuff, because you are what you eat,
mm-hmm,
and
mm-hmm.
you come what you want, That's what I always say.
Okay.
So, it's no one to look to, Justin. It's just me and you.
I don't know how to yes
This
and
isn't the office. You can't just look off into a camera.
You know what? I feel like I need to get a second camera for this camera. A second camera instead of
So PJ and Josie, they both have crushes on like these incredibly popular chicks. And basically what ends up happening is in order to impress them, so they run to this girl Hazel. It's the beginning of the school year. They run to Hazel, who like is kind of a hangers on a little bit. She's kind of like the focal to their Michael, Sarah, and Jonah Hill, Seth and Evan from
yeah.
Superbad. And to me, this is closer to being a quote unquote female Superbad than Booksmart. I felt like Booksmart was really annoying because it just felt like a retread, like a
Mm.
just like genuine like female version of Superbad. Whereas this has a similar tone, but it's like, you get to see girls act fucking crazy and absurd and stuff without the baggage of being like, this is a direct, two-hander like super
It,
bad.
it's just like, oh, this is just our lady super bad. You know what I'm saying? This like was its kind of its own thing.
Yeah.
Which is, again, if when it's more original, it kind of hits,
Mm.
a little bit better.
Yeah, and that's not to say that this movie like isn't without its flaws. I definitely think that the pacing gets a little weird in times, but basically a rumor spreads about PJ and Josie going to juvie over the summer. And then they have this incident where this really aggressive football player is like antagonizing them. They threaten to run him over. They just stop short of like hitting him. He freaks out. The whole team and school freaks out. So then they basically become ostracized, but they're like, no, 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 because they're gonna get expelled, right?
Yeah.
Which was crazy. And they're like, it was for a fight club. We're defending ourselves or whatever. And the guy's like, what? And so they basically start a sanctioned by the school fight club.
Well, it was self-defense classes.
Yes, but they're just beating the shit out of each other.
This is nuts. It's just nuts.
Yeah. Also, the Josie and PJ can get closer to the two chicks that they have huge crushes on.
Yes.
One of them is what's her name's daughter, Cindy Lauper, right? Yeah, Cindy
What?
Crawford. Cindy Crawford. Kaya Gerber. That's Cindy Crawford's daughter. That Lauper. That she would be weird as fuck looking.
Yeah. I was like, what?
But
You
yeah,
know what? It's funny because when I was watching, I was just like, she kind of looks like somebody. And it's like what you said. I was like, Cindy Crawford. That makes sense.
yeah, yeah, man. And then the other love interest is played by Havana Rose Liu. She plays Isabel, who Josie has a crush on, and it's Ao does a very like she does a thing where she is both very likable and weird and quirky, but also very vulnerable,
Yeah.
and that's a hard balance to hit. But it's like you always can kind of tell where her character's intentions are very quickly.
Yeah.
Like no matter what kind of character she plays, like you can kind of like tell like, okay, this is what this person wants and what they're about immediately. And so her as Josie is probably to me like one of the strongest elements in the movie. Um, I I wish we learned a little bit more about Josie and PJ. This is a movie. The reason why I also liken it to Superbad is because it's primarily focused on the kids, right? Like the main characters who are teenagers. Whereas, a lot I would say blockers maybe could have been the female equivalent, so to speak, of Superbad, but that focuses a lot on the adults, like John Cena and them, right? Whereas this one really does focus on the kids because you don't really know where the adults stand much in this insane world. I mean, they're
I mean,
fucking vandalizing houses and shit, and no adults really.
for the most part, the person that you have more kind of context about is Marshawn Lynch's character.
And
He's
Mr.
fucking
G.
nuts.
Yeah, and then you have fucking what was Punky Johnson's character? Rhodes, the crazy chick that lives outside in the trailer
Yeah.
serving fucking milk or some shit.
Yeah. Along a fucking train track. Like what?
That made me laugh so hard when I first I was like, is that Punky Johnson? Like, what the fuck? It's like, and then she's like giving advice to Josie, like just
I picked out as a lesbian. It was like, wait, is this what happens to lesbians in this world?
well, for me, I'm like, wait, is this like Joe like supposed to be her sister? No, it's just some crazy chick that she goes to for advice. It was very Simpsons-esque. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? It was really wild.
It's
Like
just
I
the,
loved it.
She has a bushel of hair and the cat just on her shoulder.
I mean, that's still, man, I love that episode. What's that? The fake, is that the news station with the kids at the news?
Oh, I have no idea.
I thought you were talking about the episode where Lisa like goes to interview like some woman who has a lot of cats, and the woman comes out just starts throwing cats at her, and then like throughout the episode when she's trying to do news stories, the woman just shows up throwing cats.
Ah! No,
Uh,
I mean I've seen her in other episodes. She's a recurring character.
oh yeah, I mean this is Simpsons. They've done what fucking 50 seasons,
Yeah, well, of course. You
or
got
you know, not I don't know, but it's like they're like in the almost 1,000 episodes, right? They're
of this.
getting there.
They don't have more than 1,000 episodes.
No, but they're getting really close. Though. I think
Huh.
I wouldn't be surprised if that's what episode are they on to. Like now, I'm gonna like lose my mind.
Here you go.
Um,
Here you go. Here you goes, guys. Pay attention.
are there because you know I think it's 768.
Oh wow.
But damn, that's gonna be like if they do what 20 episodes a season. Damn, yeah, they're not gonna make it to 1,000. They would literally they'd just be using AI to keep the show going at that point. That would be like 20 mid 2030s for them to get to 1,000 at that pace.
I mean, why wouldn't you think that they could do that?
That's insane.
Because they've already gone for what, almost 40 years.
Yeah, I mean, if there's a show that they can immediately replicate using AI, it's definitely The Simpsons.
Yeah, true. True.
There's just so much I mean, dude, it's like literally they. I don't even think they would have servers for AI to consume all the Simpsons data.
Mm. No, just dedicated to the Simpsons.
Yeah, true, true. But then it's like crazy because Hank Azaria does like 60% of all the voices, so it's just like they just gotta emulate that nigga. Anyways, um, so Bottoms is just like immediately starts off absurd, but then it becomes more and more violent as the girls start getting deeper into the Fight Club thing, and they can kind of tell that PJ and Josie were bullshitting about their juvie stuff. I never really bought that they all genuinely were like, oh my god, they know how
Yeah.
to fight and stuff. I think after the first when she kicks her in the vagina, you'd be like, oh, this isn't this may not be on the up and up.
Well, I mean, like she punches her in the face. AO's character punches
PJ
PJ.
or Rachel Sano, yeah.
Yeah. She punches her in the face and she comes up and her nose just like completely bloody and she has this wild look in her eyes.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing with Rachel Sanat.
Mhm.
So okay, she's very good at playing completely unhinged.
Oh yeah, she's great at that. And like frantic like energy.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's interesting. She's an interesting character. I wonder what her range is outside of that because everything I've seen her in kind of just is that, whereas AO has a little bit more versatility. So I'm curious to see. I mean, they're both close friends in real life, so
Mm.
I'm interested to see like where their careers go. I think they have great chemistry. But yeah, she was fucked. They both had their own moments of like just acting completely crazy. Like when what did Josie say when she was nervous about it's in the trivia that you found. Yeah,
Like
when Josie is telling PJ about what her life's going to end up being, Mary Bartholomew getting pregnant, and he'll become a pastor. They'll have a son. It was all improvised by her. Um, but like, because she's like, I'm gay, so I'm gonna marry this man, and then like we're gonna have a
but
kid.
he's secretly gay and he's sleeping with somebody in the congregation. Like what?
She's like, this is gonna be my life, and we're just like, that's how we like. That was like one of the first scenes.
Yeah, yeah. It's funny because Rachel Sonat, I felt like she gives very broad city vibes, like Alana
Yeah,
Glazer. Like she's like is like that's kind of like the type that she plays. But
they made
like
a lot of sketches like that. I
yeah,
think because when I saw this at Alamo Draft House when it first came out, they did a pre-show shit,
mm,
and they had sketches with Josie and Rachel, with Ao and Rachel, when they were doing quirky shit like you would see on Broad City.
yeah, very much so. He definitely got the vibe.
Yeah. Apparently, I didn't repeat this, but apparently, when Josie's talking to the Fight Club about her fake juvie experience, she's actually just recounting the plot of the Hunger Games. I feel like I maybe knew that the first time I saw it, but I completely missed it the second time. And now saw it in UVR producers trivia. I'm like, oh, that's hilarious.
Hmm. Hmm.
It's like I love when like you do like crazy shit like that, or like people have stories about that. Like friend of the show Dan Del Coley, one of my favorite bits about his is like when he wrote a love letter, like a love poem to
Yeah.
his wife, and but it was secretly the lyrics to the theme song for Baywatch.
Yeah.
I'll be ready.
I'll be ready.
Sometimes I'd be on the train, kind of like in my zone, but I probably look very serious. I'm just listening to that song, thinking about people running across the beach.
Just gazing out the window in deep thought.
Yeah. Yubi in the chat is asking, is this movie set in current times? Yeah, but it still has like a little bit of a retro feel, and some of the way that especially the way that Josie dresses.
Yeah.
Yeah, she just had an interesting look. They both, and we know this because we grew up in like suburban areas and stuff like that. They both like, had that vibe, that like alt, like fluid, gender fluid kind of vibe and stuff like.
I don't know if it's gender fluid. I
Well,
think
like
it's
the girls, the people would say they're queer or something like that, or like I'm not fully gay because I might still fuck you, Brandon. And you're like, this is confusing. I was like, I don't know, I don't have
no,
time for this.
they're just a hard to read. It's a hard to read, but it's like, but it's different though because everyone knows who they are. So I
Mm,
think if this movie were set like maybe 20 years ago, they would definitely have the vibe is just like, wait, are you not? You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
The sexuality be more ambiguous. Thank you, Uvia. But you know, because it's set and people are more in tune, and the entire school, it's a thing where everybody knows that they're lesbians and they just openly mock them about it. But yeah, I mean, they
Mm.
write lesbian one, lesbian two on their lockers on a daily basis to the point where they have a personal relationship with the janitor who covers it up by painting it on a daily basis. So
Yeah, it was a very interesting like world that it created. Like I said, it's very absurd, but it's also like it's kind of like the contradictory like nature of like liberal areas or communities, but like they're all still problematic and say like, racist, sexist, homophobic stuff. But just like the guys like, I don't mean to hurt you. It's just something silly that like it's I don't know.
yeah.
It's weird. But that's what I kind of interpreted of all that. But yeah, I mean, things get wild when the football team learns about this fight club. Um,
And
yeah,
why? Because it's taking too much attention off of the football team and Jeff, the main person on the football team.
yeah, because the girlfriend, Jeff's girlfriend, Isabel, who like Josie has a huge crush on, she dumps him and he fucking loses his mind, even though he's like been fucking all the moms. Like he's just like, including her mom. It's just he has like no chill on it.
No. He wasn't fucking her mom. He was fucking
Oh, he was fucking
Hazel.
Hazel's mom. Yeah, yeah,
Hazel.
that's right.
Yeah.
Because he's like, shut up, bitch. I fuck your mom.
He's like, oh no.
Because he says it right in front of Isabel.
Yeah.
He's just like, I mean, those actors were, like I said, they were really insane. Like, they fully were like, I get it. I get the vibe you're going for because they were so outlandish and crazy. I did finding it annoying that the girls ended up saving them versus letting them like get their comeuppance fully. But I
Yeah.
guess it was more for school pride, which pride, yes, sure. But I wish I had learned more about the girls who were in the quote unquote fight club defense class
Mm.
and their specific feelings about the school culture and like football culture and like just what they thought of their place in the world that this set up and what they thought about like their future outside of that or within that if they decide to stay.
Yeah. It's
Because it's kind
funny.
of like did you ever watch Glee?
No.
So Glee was weird. Um, First two seasons are really, really fucking good. Um, but the thing was, Glee is it's like and I imagine this kind of takes place like a Midwest. Is this Midwest or like Long Islandish?
I
I
don't
felt
know.
more.
They really didn't set it up exactly where the.
Yeah, this could kind of be anywhere in Middle America. But what I'm trying to say is, Glee takes place, I believe, in a school in Ohio, somewhere in fucking Ohio, right?
Mm,
And the first season, like the first few seasons, are about this kid Kurt and his transition to accepting his sexuality and learning to be comfortable coming out because it's such a small town and like people are pretty ignorant and stuff like that. And this is season one, right? So he goes through all this work. Mind you, he's just one gay kid that's like going through this journey because it's there's so few of them in this school in this community, right?
mm.
But by season four, there's like multiple gay students and like a openly trans student, but they don't really talk about any of the pushback that still would get. Like they touch on it a little bit, but it's like for an episode and then they move on. Like, oh, everyone's accepted now. I'm like, that is not the case. And what I love so much about the first season, which sucks that you don't have the context of what I'm about to say on
Mm.
the scene, but there's a really powerful scene where Kurt's mom is in a relationship with the main character Finn's dad, and so they're about to move in together. And Kurt has a crush on Finn, right?
Oh.
Yeah, and so like Finn finally like snaps because they're just decorating their basement together or something like that, and Finn finally snaps and is like, "I don't want like this faggy lamp or like all like he starts screaming that out like he's just losing his mind like I know the way you look at me like I don't want any of this." And the dad comes downstairs as they're moving into Kurt's dad's house, and he's
Mm.
like, "I don't. You're never gonna talk to my son like that again. You will never make my son feel like that in my house." And basically, it's like y'all can't move in here. Like, and it's like a really powerful, like an adult calling out a kid on their wild shit that they're saying. And like that just got lost in the series. And like for me, that like felt so inauthentic to the world they had set up. And like progress happens, but this has happened that fast. If there's anything that
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
showed
I see what you're saying.
the past 5 fucking years, we can see, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, yeah. I mean, I think that when things like that happen, you kind of just have to let it. You because you're living because that's real emotion. Because like if God forbid, somebody said something wild like that to one of my kids,
Yeah.
that's you know yeah, that's more important than any relationship that you're in or friendship that you have. So like, but at the same time, we also know people that. Oh, not I'm saying we know people, but there's a lot of people out there that wouldn't do anything. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
That just let that shit slide because they don't want to rattle the cage of their, whatever relationship that they have or where they stand in society. So, it's a real slippery slope.
Yeah. And I think that's what's interesting about this movie. And maybe that's the main but reason why Marshawn Lynch's character exists is to kind of like address the bigotry that could be there while also showing someone that's trying. They may be really rough around the edges or maybe take a little bit longer than you would like to get there, like in regards to being accepting of everybody and
Hmm.
not always making a joke about it. And I think that he's charming enough where that kind of gets across with that character because that could have gone sideways with the wrong kind of actor.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
And like you said, it's like because it's Marshawn Lynch and just like who he is as a person, it really lends that to being just like, it's a beast mode.
So I wasn't really familiar with him too much before I saw this movie.
Really.
Yeah, yeah. Like, what's he most notable for?
Well, he's a football player.
I know that, but like, I know football, but like, has he done anything like memorable that I would like be like, oh, it's that
No,
dude?
he's
Or
done a bunch of he's done a few TV shows where he's is kind of like Marshawn Lynch experienced the world. Like he did like a show he did like a Bear Grylls that whatever that show and he's just like he's just on some real nigga shit.
okay,
It's really he's like man I'm not I'm not gonna hold you right now, but I ain't doing that shit. Like, he's just a real ass dude. Like he does all the Skittles commercials. Is like he's been around, but also part of who he was is like they didn't like he doesn't want to do press. Like he doesn't he just like he's not there for the press. And but then they were gonna find him for not showing up to like the press.
Oh, for the after game things.
And then so he goes to a press junket and he's just being very short with them. And he's just like, "Hey, I'm just here so I don't get fined." Like
Oh
just
yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that video.
yeah, so like that's him. But like
Okay,
that's like he's very authentic to who Marshawn Lynch is.
got it. Okay. Did they let them take showers before they do those interviews?
Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. Because sometimes they're there and they're still in their uniform, like, and you can see that they haven't, you
My
know.
God, think about how bad they must smell.
I mean,
After they
not
just been
necessarily.
sweating, they just been sweating for like an hour straight, and then they're gonna just sit
No,
in
3 hours.
this hot ass room. Well, they
About
don't play like the basketball game all the way straight. You know what I mean?
no, but you're still wearing the same uniform. You're not taking it
Oh
off.
yeah, true. Yeah. Oh, the funk of 3 rounds of basketball,
Football.
football. Hooah!
And it's 4 quarters. It's 4 quarters. 3 rounds of basketball. This motherfucker here. Jesus Christ.
Listen, okay. I only learned my football's information from Friday Night Lights. Okay.
I can tell. Movie Miles ass motherfucker.
You know, Tati considers that she is a Friday Night Lights fan, and two that she's seen all she needs to see of Friday Night Lights because she watched seasons 4 and 5 with Michael B. Jordan. I was like, how fucking dare you?
Yeah, how dare you?
I was like, you don't understand Coach Taylor's journey until you watch 1 through 3. You
Mm-hmm.
see the shit he went through. Then he has to go to East Dillon, deal
Yep.
with this crazy shit, and he still makes a winning team.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. It's a great show. I gotta watch it again.
So good, so good. You got fucking Connie Nelson,
But you know what? You know what? The reason
Connie Brennan. That's who
it,
it is.
so the reason I don't want to watch it again, I know if I watched it again, I'm gonna be watching with Paula, and she'd be just like, "Oh, so this is like American high school is like. This was like playing on a football team was like for you." And I don't want it. I don't want all that. I just don't want it. She don't understand.
Yeah. And also, you don't need that. You don't need to see her look. You don't need her watching you watching the TV screen when Mickey Kelly pops up. You don't need that. You don't need that.
Mm. Actually, who's the other girl?
Oh, the one who like hooked up with Landry at one point. That was weird.
Yeah, but like she was more my vibe than Mickey Kelly.
Uh,
She was just a little too, they just played her up to be it's like she's the, she's just perfect, but she's, kind of fucked up. She made some mistakes, but
mm.
I don't know. It's just
Yeah, you were into
somebody a
Adrian
little dirty.
Palicki.
Yeah, need somebody just a little bit dirtier,
Oh yeah, she was dirty. Hooking up with Higgins all the time.
Riggins,
Riggins. I knew it was Riggins.
WWRD. What would Riggins do?
Such a fucking crazy. He'd go to jail because that's what happened to him. He was not well by the last season. Um, all right, so bad the bottoms. So things really come to a head when the football team decides to basically call out these young women that have been fighting at a rally, at a prep rally, and basically they have like their biggest player just beat the dog shit out of Hazel.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's brutal. It's a brutal watch, y'all. At first you're thinking, oh, Hazel's gonna show some skills and fuck him up. Nope.
No, no, Hazel did some work.
She
She
did
did.
some work, but she didn't do the work. she
Listen. She at least she got some hits in. She got some real good shots in that dude. She made him second guess.
Listen, am I wrong in like, okay, that could be fine, right? In a hypothetical game of whatever the fuck, right? That works. But when it comes to physical violence, getting a few licks in, but ultimately losing ain't good.
No, but when
You know
you're
what I
fighting,
mean?
but when you're fighting somebody who you're supposed to lose to, that you don't have a shot against, and then you actually put up a good ass, you put up a good fight, that actually does something to the point where everybody's just like, yeah, that was supposed to happen. I don't want to fight that person. So like my dad always used to tell me, you fight somebody, win or lose, you make sure that they never want to fight you again and nobody else wants to fight you again. So you just go in. You make sure you hurt them and you go crazy so nobody else ever wants to mess with you again. All you gotta do is fight one person and that's it. You'll never have to fight again.
Are
That's
you man enough? Are you man enough to fight for niggas for me?
yeah.
Why you always try to sing along when you know we on at the delay?
I love it.
Um, yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Like, if I ever had to go down fighting, I'm gonna bite some. I'm gonna bite something.
Yeah.
I'm gonna bite a nut. I'm gonna bite a inner thigh. You gonna remember me.
But that's the things like people turtle up. People turtle up. It's just like, no, you have to also, you got to leave with your pride and also leave with a little bit of their DNA. You know what I'm saying? I'll be under your fingernails, in your mouth. Either way, bite them. Do everything you got to do.
Can you check something on your end, man? You keep screeching. It's like hurting my ears.
Oh, I'm sorry. Turn down a little bit. Turn
Okay.
down.
All right. Gotta write that time down. Gotta edit the fuck out of this episode. All right. What were you saying? You're talking about Biden. Well, I mean, there's a lot of Hazel's DNA all over the place after that fight. I mean, her blood is everywhere. And then all the girls get mad at Josie and PJ because clearly they lied about their juvie experience. Duh. And then they find out that also that PJ and Josie just created the team so they could hook up with Isabel and Brittany, basically.
You know?
And at this point, Isabel and Josie are hooking up.
Yeah. Well, they just hooked up for the first time.
Yeah. Which is Josie's no longer a lesbian version.
Well, I understand, baby.
I kept that shit to myself. When I lost my virginity, like I wasn't like boisterous like some of these dudes where I was like always like, fuck you didn't actually have sex. You know what I mean? In high school.
Yeah. So it's funny because there was this dude, and he was always bragging about. I remember looking at him as like, nigga, you ain't had no.
Mm-hmm.
Everything about him is like, yo, bro, I can tell you lying. And then what really got me is when my man was just like, yeah, I don't masturbate. And I was looking at him, and was like, yeah, nigga. That's how I know you never had sex. Because once you got it, you're masturbating even more.
Yeah, it was well, I mean, did I jerk off? I jerked off a few times like in high school, but it was kind of hard because my bedroom was right across from my mom's. And then we had the fucking dial up on the internet. So it's not like you can watch internet porn.
Nigga, all you got to do, you're a young boy in high school. You got to do is close your eyes.
Well, that was I was lucky enough where I didn't have to do that too many times, too often.
Just close your eyes.
No, I didn't have to like jerk off. That's not. I got help. Is what I'm trying to say. Get him a
Uh-huh.
nut.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Nah.
Remember, there's a lot of overzealous white girls in Ann Arbor.
Yeah, well,
Those
I,
fast girls that my mom used to refer to, which, you know, it took me a while to get to that point because before it was like, ooh, it was not going well for Mr. Collins.
listen, you were probably doing better than me, but I still, I still was beating on myself like it owed me money.
Jesus Christ. I told you, I used to like join sex chats on AOL Messenger.
There you go. That's the way.
But I've had to do it under my mom's account because she's the one that had the adult clearance. And so I didn't know how to switch the genders and shit. So I had to pretend to be a woman in these sex chats. I need to turn that into something. It's fucking crazy.
Man, you could have ended up being abducted at a mall for that shit.
I could never see me again. You would never know who Brandon Collins is.
Yeah, yeah. That's straight up. That's straight up. You gonna meet a dude in a gimp outfit.
There'll be a documentary about me on TNT.
No, on Netflix right now. We just hearing about it now because you remember you're black, so
Oh yeah, that's right.
anybody to care.
Like the pictures of me coming up in the Ken Burns transition. Like Brandon was such a promising young man. He loved dragons and trusted everybody. Okay,
Uh,
so Josie and PJ, they also end up fighting each other because they're like, "Oh, we wouldn't be in this." Josie's like, "We wouldn't be in this situation if you hadn't made me lie," and all this shit.
oh no. First of all, first before we get there, PJ goes ham on Hazel, and then Hazel basically
Oh,
dimes
that's
them out
right. Yeah.
football players. So and then like Josie says the PJ, she's just like, yo, like if you didn't act like that to Hazel, we wouldn't have this problem.
Hmm.
And then Josie, I'm sorry, then PJ says to Josie, like, well, this is all your idea. She's like, no, it's not. Like,
No.
don't
No.
let's not do
Yeah,
that.
PJ's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
She's
she's out
it's
of her.
all her fault.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah, she went kind of hard at Hazel, and it's like, how'd you not expect that to boomerang back to you at some point?
Yeah,
I mean, they end up getting a relationship together at the end. Well, like, or I mean, they kiss. They kiss a few times.
yeah, but as a distraction,
No, I think they genuinely like we're kind of like, oh, let's see what this
well,
deal.
I mean, they're both people who really haven't kissed anyone,
True.
up to that point. So they got caught up in the moment.
Caught up in the moment.
Which is rising.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know what
Yep.
you're talking.
I felt like you didn't.
Yeah, yeah. There's. I'm not gonna get into that. I was gonna do more high school stories, but I'm like, no, I don't.
I don't really want to hear about your high school.
I know between the sex chats, you're like, I'm okay, Brandon. And then the origins of Eddie Collins, just like the more I learn about your high school life, the more questions I have than answers.
Yeah, yeah. It's not a good thing. It's not a good thing.
Did I mean, Fight Club came out in the mid '90s, right? Was there
Mhm.
anything like this, like not in regards to like a school sanctioned thing, but did you ever hear about people that like getting in fights like on purpose like this?
What do you mean getting in fights on
Like
purpose?
people that legit try to maybe start a fight club?
Um, no, I mean, I listen. There were fights at my school,
Yeah.
but like it wasn't a thing where people were just like, hey, well, no. There was like some of the kids on the wrestling team. Like there was a guy, actually, a professional boxer who went to my school, Chris Algieri. He actually fought Manny Pacquiao. Um, didn't go very well.
All
Uh,
right.
he
For him or Pacquiao?
For him.
No, that's not good.
Yeah. Um. But regardless, I like people had boxing gloves, so they're like boxing in the locker room, and I remember he just busted this motherfucker up. Just like, yeah, like why are you? But like I knew that kid was a kickboxer,
Mm.
prior to like in high school and things like that. I'm just like, why would you challenge that kid to a fight? He's gonna fuck you up. Like that's not a good idea.
Because hubris brings down people. They sometimes, especially if they're smaller, their opponent's smaller or something like that. I mean, or like less, like for me, right? Like, me, I'm very like unassuming dude. I don't really have, if you looked at me, you wouldn't think I'm in any way a violent threat. I'm just gonna be, let's be honest. Like, right? I'm 5'6". I have a very like just gee golly kind of disposition. Like you would never think like I might secretly be able to fucking kill you with my pinky or something, right? But
Mhm.
there's this kid that I've told you about this guy named Jason, who's my friend Sean from back home's cousin. It's this light skinned dude. He looked like a black Napoleon Dynamite, but he got kicked out of ninja school. That was the way he was introduced to me. He was like, "Hey, this is Jason." He was like, he just got kicked out of ninja school in California, so he's back home in Michigan. I was like, "What the fuck are you telling me?" So
Ninja
what?
ninja school.
I know. Like, I added this to a script later on in life. But I'm like, okay. So I'm just teasing this dude, and he's older than me. So there's this 17-year-old kid that's just going in on this adult man who like just got kicked out of ninja school. So for me, I'm thinking he's got to suck at like martial arts, right?
Mm.
But then on in the taxi after like this weird night we had, I was trying to tease him again. I'm like, oh, what's the difference between praying mantis and crouching tiger, whatever the fuck? And I'm sitting in the middle between him, he's to my right, and then Sean's to my left. And he's like, well, crouching tigers when you blah 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 blah. And then he just snaps me in the neck.
Oh no, that's Dragon.
I don't know
Dragon
which one he did, but
because it's something that you don't see.
he
It's the attack that
halfway
you don't
halfway through his explanation, he chopped me in the neck. And I doubled over and Sean's just like, oh shit. I mean, you kind of had that coming. Yeah, I mean, you've been teasing for 3 days straight.
Wait, hold on. You just said, like I'm not the I'm very unassuming, and then you just tell a story about how you got chopped in the neck by this weird Napoleon Dynamite dude, which is just like, nah, you are just exactly what we all thought you were.
I'm like broken the bear. I'm like, hey. Hey, what's this? I'm the kind of dude who I'm
You
gonna
tell
call it coking in my girl. I'm like, I'm gonna go see what that beehive's about, even though I'm allergic to bees.
like Brandon, like the way you set up that story is just like, oh yeah, then like he tried to snap me neck and I caught his hand.
Oh no,
I
no,
broke
no,
it.
no,
I
no!
know.
He
Oh
fucked me up
no, he fucked me up.
because I didn't think he would. I didn't think he could, and then this dude just shot me in the neck.
But like to Uvia says in the chat, but okay, but what the hell is ninja school? That's the real question.
I asked that several times, and I kid you not. And maybe we gotta get my boy Sean on this episode on this podcast at one point to ask him more questions about Jason, who I found on Facebook. That nigga's plumb crazy
Of
and
course,
full MAGA now. Like he's not a he's not well. But the response I would get was is where he was learning to become a ninja. And I'm like, that still doesn't answer my question. Because do ninjas even make money? Like, it's the three ninja question. How much does a ninja make?
listen, it sounds like this nigga was straight Cobra Kai.
That's fucking crazy, dude.
He was just in a
Also,
crazy, insane school where they were fucking really just hurting each other.
yeah,
He
the
was
idea the idea of Cobra Kai to me still is like it's so insane. I'm glad they're actually wrapping it up because the more I think about it, the more I'm like, there's no way in society that a fucking dojo corporation called Cobra Kai is going to like take the country by storm and just create these fucking super soldiers just beating the shit out of each other in high schools.
no super soldier children. Children.
So fucking crazy. Anyways, but maybe that's what like prepared us for something like Bottoms, because there is an alternate world where Bottoms could have been an incredibly controversial movie.
How so?
You know what I mean? Like I think there's a world where if we hadn't seen the teens from Cobra Kai or what's some other movies that like had teenagers fighting. Nothing immediately comes to mind besides Cobra Kai because that got pretty fucking vicious in season two. I think that like allowed audiences to
That got broken.
yeah, but I think that allowed audiences to see high school students engaging in really violent behavior. Because you know, think back to 1999, Columbine, stuff like that. They were
Mm,
cutting school teenage violence out of everything.
true.
You know, like when there's big like things like moments like that or something, they take weapons out of franchises like they did with Turtles. Um, you know, they water down or they change the plots to not reflect high school violence and stuff like that. And I think, you know, with school shootings, that ebbs and flows constantly in culture. And so I think that this movie just kind of hit a point where it was able to kind of slide in without any real controversy. Because I do think that there's an alternate world where let's say like even like a few years from now, I can see a world where a movie like Bottoms would be considered very controversial,
Yeah.
especially if we continue reverting back in like in regards to acceptance of LGBTQ people and like you know being like we get into the point level of like what is it disenchantment? No, not disenchantment. I don't know what I'm trying to say. The it's like when
Well,
you're so numb to something.
so um I think actually it's just the LGBTQ themes which are going to make people which is going to would make this controversial as opposed
Mm,
because the violence, we're so prone to violence in so many forms of media. I mean, even reality TV, it's just like we're looking forward to two people, like somebody lost their shit and throws a cup of glass in somebody's face or
yeah.
something like that. Desensitized, as you were saying. Thank you, Evie.
Oh,
Uh,
okay. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you.
so so we're I think like the violence wouldn't be it. It would actually just be, these quote unquote adult themes making it into these young minds, that are being perverted, with
Yeah.
these themes, which is just a nutty thing to say because, kids are far more you know, forward minded on a lot of or just advanced on a lot of different subjects than they've ever been before.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
They're not surprised.
No, no. I mean, this movie that might surprise them with like, you know, tradition of a high school trying to kill the other team, a player on the other team.
Yeah,
That's
he
a
took it so
fucking wild.
literally. He took it
That
literally.
I mean, but that's there are really stupid traditions though that like some towns have. You know what I mean? They're just really crazy. Not to the point where like it like sanctions murder, a la the purge, but like, weird rivalries where there's always a prank pulled or some shit like that.
Yeah.
You know, but basically they discover PJ and Josie discover that the opposing high school during their huge homecoming game is going to, try to kill somebody
Yeah.
on their
They've
team.
done it in the past.
Yeah, so then they take it upon themselves basically to try to protect the football team. Um, and then they discover that the pineapple juice has been like, there's been like the sprinkler system's been rigged with pineapple juice to kill Jeff, who's definitely allergic, and that's the head, quarterback,
Yeah. Well, it's the quarterback.
the quarterback, yeah,
The head
starting
quarterback.
quarterback. That's what I should have said, right?
Yes.
The
The
head quarterback.
quarterback.
I don't know anything about sports.
Oh boy. You man. And
I'm really scared. Like my kids are going to be like crazy athletic and like want to be involved in all the sports, and I'm gonna have to learn all this shit.
good. Good.
I have to learn so much. Um, but yeah, so Hazel decides to help them out. She fucking blows up a tree, but that doesn't come until the very end after the fighting. And then the girls from the fight club basically, when all chaos breaks out during the game, they just start beating the shit out of the opposing team, and they have this crazy melee where like they're literally carrying members, like Jeff and them on their shoulders and shit to safety. Um, yeah, that was fucking nuts. And then the audience is just like, what the fuck is
Yeah, they're
happening?
just sitting there like which like you imagine that they would be watching these kids be brutalized on a
Yeah.
field. And then they start cheering because their team won essentially because the other team is dead.
Yeah.
Somebody got impaled on a broadsword. Like
That
what?
was crazy. I mean, Hazel did that. She's fucking,
Yeah.
I mean, she was already crazy, but then she started hyping herself like, yeah. I mean, didn't she say something about like, I'll be able to kill my stepdad with these skills?
Yeah, it's wild.
I mean, you gotta watch out for those niggas. Going
Mm-hmm.
back to The Simpsons, one of my favorite gags is when Marge tries to become a cop and Chief Wiggum was going by down the line of the new recruits. And this one dude's like, quit stalling. When did we get to the freaking guns? And Chief Wiggum's like, I told you, I'm not going to give you a gun until you tell me your name. Like, people tell you, like, show you who they are immediately.
You tell me your name.
It's fucking crazy. But yeah, like Hazel, I mean, she was saying some wild shit where they were like, we got to watch out for her. But I mean, I wish I had learned, like I said, more about the other characters and why being able to defend themselves and why that was so important, and also how that fits into like this absurd culture world in this school and then beyond that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I get it. I mean, it's a tight hour and a half, so maybe they were just like, those are the main focus, characters to focus on. It's Josie and PJ's journey, but I think it would have just made things a little bit more well-rounded
Yeah,
and
cool.
fuller, especially for the third act when they all come together. Like that felt a little. It felt like there was a scene or two missing from that. It should have been like it felt like a forced version of like the Mighty Ducks opening in Mighty Ducks 2 when they all come back together, but without like
They just skating.
I wish that would have been great. Um, but it's just like, well, they have some history, but I don't know if they have that kind of history where they immediately be like, I'm gonna drop everything I'm doing and like go into this fight for my life kind of situation
Yeah.
on behalf of these guys that all they do is terrorize us. And some of them are the reasons why we took this self-defense class in the first place.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like, that's a little sloppy
Oh
there.
no, they also said that they need to protect themselves from that other school. And it's like, hey,
Yes. Yeah.
it's go time right now because they're literally about to do this thing.
Mm. But yeah, that's how the movie ends. It ends at the end of this violent melee on the football field.
And the girls
Isabel and
over it
Josie.
and just laughing and hugging. And
Yeah.
Marshawn looks at them like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, that had to be a fucking wild scene for them to watch them film.
You know what? Like also like when Hazel is fighting that that guy at the homecoming event, whatever. Why didn't the other girls just storm from the crowd and then just gang and just stomp that dude out?
I was thinking that too. I guess it's because of the shock of like seeing a man beat the shit out of a woman. You know, they
Yeah,
don't usually show that. Like, I mean, even like on Jersey Shore, like it's really hard to see the footage, to find the footage of that dude punching Snooki in the face, which basically made the show.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, it's just really hard to see like men assaulting women like that.
yeah.
Which is, I mean, no one wants to eagerly see that, but I think that's why it's so jarring in this movie.
Yeah.
You know, you're like, oh shit.
Yeah. I mean, it also depends who it is, what happened.
I mean, I guess it's also to the point like no, not everyone wants to smoke, and even though you did the self defense class, like not everyone wants to.
Yeah, not necessarily. Yeah, not necessarily. Just like bloodthirsty. To actually go out there and use it.
Because I'm sure there's a difference between getting a punch from Josie in your face and getting a punch from that fucking linebacker in your face.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Definitely.
It's like you get a little dap from me, but the next hit is from Mike Tyson. Yeah, that's gonna feel different.
Yeah.
Oh man, do you think regular people just get knocked the fuck out by Mike Tyson even now, right?
Yeah.
If he just punched you,
Yes. Yes.
Jesus.
If a professional boxer hits most regular people, they are not prepared for that.
You think I
It
just you think I'm just knock out cold, or you think I would like my brain would just be ringing and I would take a minute to recover?
it really depends. You may
Damn.
find out that you're a little bit more durable than you think, but it also depends how much he's putting into that punch.
I just started talking like Sylvester Stallone and Rocky. Hey, you Justin. Like, that sounds more like Biggie.
It did. It did. It
Oh,
did.
hip
You have
hop.
to do other people to then get the right person that you want to get.
I know it's like a fucking my brain's so miswired. Anyways, Justin, break down our rating system, baby.
Stop calling me baby. So guys, you know how we do
This
this.
is the first time I'm calling you baby.
What?
This is the first time I'm calling you baby on this episode.
Stop calling me baby. Anyhow, guys, you know how we do this. We rate movies back to popcorn, small, medium, large, and the XL for the exceptional. If a film doesn't deserve any fresh, hot popcorn, we throw it in. We throw it into the stale popcorn pile. We pile piles and piles of stale popcorn on top of it. So, Brandon, we watched the 2023 film Bottoms,
Yes, we
starring
did.
Rachel Sanat and Ao Ed Breedy, Ed Ed
It's a beery.
Ed,
Yeah, we're butchering it. I know
yeah,
we are.
yeah,
I'm
I'm
sorry,
sorry.
everybody.
All right, and Marshawn Lynch. What say you, sir?
Well, we got the man's name right. We're gonna get a tweet about that.
Yeah, well, I
Fuck.
mean that's an easier one. Sorry, I'm
Is it for me? I'm like, I looked at that.
speech impediments.
Yeah.
Go on.
Um. Yeah. This gets a medium. This gets a medium. It's an enjoyable watch, and I really liked reading the script. Because I think it does a good job establishing this quirky ass world. The biggest issue why it's not getting a higher rating from me is just the third act does it starts falling apart a little bit.
It's just rushed.
Yeah, it feels rushed. Not all the moments feel earned. Um, but it's still entertaining. It's just that I wish that it was a little bit cleaner and just and fit the good pacing that had gone up until that point where we get that crazy ass Rhodes character by Punky Johnson. That just feels like it comes out of nowhere to give a lot of exposition and just say random shit about older generations in this community that are also gay who were dealt with that. It was just wild. Um, yeah, medium, still enjoyable. What about you, Justin?
I'm actually with you. I'm gonna give it a medium. I just think, and to the point that you made, I think we needed a little bit more with some of the other characters, other young ladies that were a part of this fight club or self defense class, because I guess what the movie is missing is like that tender moment that really brings a little bit of levity to this kind of comedic film. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think like because we didn't get that where like people are really sharing this is like, hey, this is what this thing actually means to me, that would have raised the stakes for the girls, then it coming out that hey, they were doing this to try to get chicks. You know what I'm
Mm,
saying?
yeah.
So that, I think if they would have added that, that would have actually just lend to the script to make it a little tighter, and all of that mean something more, to the point where it's like we can't fuck with you guys anymore.
Yeah. That tender moment when your lips touch this. I don't know the rest of it.
Yep, let's stop that.
All right. Well, folks, as always, you can follow me at Proto_Blackened. You can follow the show at Media MP Podcast on all social media platforms. And Justin, if people want to support the show financially, as well as maybe follow you on the socials that you're barely on, what can they do, my brother?
Guys, you can follow me at J Brown Did It on the socials, but you can also support this show at Patreon, patreon.com/medium popcorn.
Patreon.
$5, $10, and $15 packages. Our entire backlog goes to Patreon. We have so much stuff on Patreon right now that you are missing out, like our backlogs, our bonus shows, the mini shows, all on Patreon. Is where you need to be. Again, patreon.com/medium popcorn.
That's right. That's right. If you sign up for Patreon, you are guaranteed to have your thoughts or reviews of the movies that we talk about right on that episode. And we didn't give any thoughts at all on Bottoms, which is unfortunate from our Patreon followers. But Craig Lindsay, who's a consistent fan of the show, wrote, "I reviewed this movie for CityBeat.com," and so we'll have the link to Craig's review in the show notes. So you can check that out, folks. As always, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate y'all, and we will talk to y'all next week.
Mm-hmm.
Shitty, shitty, bang, bang.
Shibba